I know you're like me and you love creating handmade cards for the holidays. And when it does something special like this slider card, it makes it even more special. You're not going to believe how quick and easy this is to create. I'm going to share a few techniques here along with how to make this slider card. This is the 4th video in our series, Crafting Before Christmas. And if you've missed any of the videos, definitely be sure to catch them on the channel. So without further ado, let's get into it. The first thing we'll do is die cut from the Cockpit dies out of white cardstock. You could also cut this out of colored cardstock. I like to do it both ways, but this way I can do some shading on my plain body and with these pieces as well. All right, so we have the body of the plane, the wheels, the propeller, a little stripe for detail on the body, and this piece. Does anyone know what this is called? It's the piece that holds up the wings. Now I'm going to ink blend them, and I need them to stay in place while I'm ink blending, so I like to just add a little bit of Sizzix tape runner, and that will kind of anchor it down for me. I'm going to go for a green plane, so we'll ink blend within the park. I could also do direct to paper. That will give me a very solid color. I really love the color or the look of ink blending on my die cuts, so this is the method that I really like. And like I said, you can also do just plain and colored cardstock. And then I like to do a little shading around the seat for the pilot and along the bottom of the body. And if you want to do even more shading, grab the next color darker, and which I'm going to use my color wheel I used in the park, and then I want to go darker, and that is Mardi Gras. So those are my greens: Pistachio in the Park, Mardi Gras, and Deck the Halls. If you don't have your color wheel yet, you can go to shop.catherinepulver.com and download it for free under our free downloads, and I will link below as well in the description here on YouTube. There is my body. It's adorable and colored. Just kind of peel that back a bit. Super cute. Next part, we're going to do the detail for the body. Pop the dots out. I think I'm going for red with this one. Traditional red. I'm listening to my mom on this one. I showed her one of my non-traditional color combos for Christmas, and she liked the card, but said she's a traditionalist, so she would rather see red and green. So this one's for you, Mom. And that's gonna be adhered right across the front of the plane. And for the wheels, we're gonna go blackjack. And again, depending on how solid you want it, if you just want it solid blackjack or you want some shading, is gonna depend on how you apply the ink. All right, there are the wheels, and then don't forget the propeller. I'm using my Barely Arts glue for this because it has that precision nozzle, the precision applicator, so it's really easy to just get a little bit of glue. You don't want too much because you don't want it to swidge out the sides and get on your project. And just tap that down. And then the wheels, this whole piece is going to go along the bottom of the body. Sometimes I listen to my mom and sometimes I don't. You know, she's the one who said that I can't name an ink color hot tub. And when she said that, I knew I definitely was naming it a hot tub. Acting like I was 15 again. All right, the propeller on the front, and oh, I forgot to do this piece. We're gonna do this blackjack as well. We'll add some glue on the bottom and the bottom of the X. Here's the finished plane. And I need another cutout of the body. I actually don't need the whole thing, so I'm just gonna cut out part of it here. Definitely stay tuned. In just a minute, we're gonna show how this will all come together and create a slider. Now I'm gonna start working on the base of the card. I'm using my stencil and stamp tool. I'm taking off the platform part, and I'm just gonna use the stencil piece. For the first layer on the cards, I'm gonna create a background with the In the Clouds layered stencil. This is one of our products from our Sizzix collab, and this is layer 1. Has 4 layers, and the stencils are numbered, and have holes so that you're going to be able to line up each layer perfectly using this stencil and stamp tool. I'm going to do blue raspberry. I'm going to try to go really, oh, that's darker than I wanted. Let's just get some of this ink off and go a little lighter. And my stencil doesn't go all the way across this way on the card, so I'm going to ink blend kind of an ombre look so that it gets lighter as it goes along, and you don't really notice that it's the end of the stencil. Let me go a little darker here so that I have more ombre-ing. Is that a word? Oh, that'll look fun. Okay, so darker in the corner, lighter as it goes off. And I could, oh wow, that looks really great. I could use just one stencil here or add the second, and this will give some shadowing for the clouds. And then here's the third one, and it has some smaller clouds on it. I think that will be fun. So I'll do this one with a lighter or a heavier hand of blue raspberry. Give some dimension. And you know, I really, if I wanted it to go over the whole way, I could put my stencil back on, pull this up, move it over one, and do some more clouds here. Actually, I think I'm gonna do that. I've never actually used the stencil like this, but I think this is a pretty cool way. Oh yeah, totally cool. And pull this first one in again. So now it doesn't end at the edge. Or, I mean, it doesn't end in the middle of the card. Let's see. Ta-da! Oh yeah. Yes, I love that. So I'm just gonna stay here. I'm just gonna do the 2 layers and carry on. For the slider part, you can use the Notes of Love dies, which are these 3 banners and the 3 hearts here, or the Sentiment banner dies. Either one is gonna work, and I think I'm gonna use this one, the smallest Sentiment banner dies. We're going to die cut this straight through the layer and kind of in the middle, basically in the middle. Just die cut that right through. I've also used the Notes of Love and Sentiment banner dies to work with the holiday one-liners, and I already have some cut and stamped, and I may use one of these on the card, and if I don't use one of those, we'll just make a new one. So there's lots of fun sentiments here. Happy ho ho holidays. We have a ho 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 down here. Holiday hugs. You're on my nice list. That would be cute with this. The plane needs someone flying in it. So I used the Santa's crew, which was created to go with the plane, and the ho 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 down here. Before I put this together, I want to use blackjack for the ho ho ho. All right, so how do we make that slide? You're gonna take your plane, you're gonna get some 3D foam strips, and you don't even need a whole foam strip. So I'm gonna take just a little piece of it, maybe about 1 inch long. I'm gonna add it to the back of the plane. I'm gonna take another strip. This will just give it some width so that it doesn't move around too much. Pull that off the back. And then you're gonna take your layer, turn it over, put it over the foam tape, and then the extra little plane that you cut out, we're going to attach here. Just like that. And you could even trim off the rest of that if you want to. This basically just gives it something to attach to. And then you have a plane that slides back and forth. It's so cute. And if you want to do a little tab, that's where I did this. I've got mistletoe. That's so fun. So I have a few more things for this card that we need to put together and stamp. First, I'm going to do the I've got mistletoe again, because this one should be stamped further over to the left because I don't have enough room there. So we'll grab the Wow embossing pad, the anti-static tool. I'm gonna stamp it twice because sometimes the first time doesn't work out well. So I'll give myself a couple chances here. Actually, let's do 3 times. Should get it right at least once, right? We'll sprinkle some white embossing powder over the top, tap it off, Make sure any excess, oh, I did good. And then give it a heat. So that embossing powder will heat up and melt. And then I have a beautiful solid white greeting. And they all came out pretty good. This is gonna give me a little more room. So I'm gonna do it all the way to the left so I have some space to adhere the banner to the plane. Here's the die cut. We'll add some liquid adhesive to the end. Adhere that to the plane. If you want to reinforce that and make it a little bit sturdier, you can add another die cut. And this one, we're going to glue under here, but make it stick out into the body of the plane a little bit further. And then that will help everything stay pieced together. Ta-da! Now who's flying this plane? Santa, Mrs. Claus, one of the elves, Rudolph, one of the reindeer. I think Mrs. Claus needs to do this one. So let's take R27. We'll color her coat. I'm using Cockpit markers. And then I'll come in with R29 and add some shading. These are very small images, so you don't need a lot going on here. You can just get away with really, really minor details. Then the middle here, I'm just gonna do some circle movements, and that will help me get a little bit more of a round look. We'll use C1 for her hair, and we'll just do, again, just a little bit of shading. Just adding some dimension and interest. Holly leaves will be G14. If you want to add a little detail to those two. They're so tiny, so you don't really need much. For her glasses, let's give them a little bit of a blue hue. So this is B00. Let's see, E00, let's go with that. Just so she doesn't look flat. And if you want to darken it and give some shading, you can take a darker color and go tip to tip, grabbing some darker color out of the darker marker. And as you color, that darker color comes out of the lighter marker. Nice natural shading. Need a little C7 for her gloves. What are we gonna do for this fur trim? I'm gonna take my Shoe glue pen, add glue to where the fur trim is, and pour over White Puff Twinkle. There's also White Puff if you don't want it to be sparkly, but who doesn't want sparkle? I mean, maybe some people don't want sparkle. And then you wanna make sure that the embossing powder doesn't cover up the black lines. So just take a pick and kind of wipe that off. I hope you can see this. When it heats, it's going to emboss and it's going to puff up. So we will have nice glitter and texture for the fur trim. She is precious. A quick die cut, and we have Mrs. Claus to go into the oh my gosh, how cute is that? So fun. Just pop her right in. Then you definitely want to add some foam tape to the back so that the layer will have some height off of the base of the card. And that will give you room to move the sliding mechanism. So I could add it straight to a white card base, but I thought some patterned paper would be really fun. And I think this candy cane stripe gives the feel of postal. Gives postal vibes, and the biplane gives me postal vibes too, so I think it goes really well. And this pattern is from our 12 by 12 holiday Holly and Bows pattern paper pack. So here is a look at all of those colors, or all the patterns. Aren't they gorgeous? I really am wanting this in wrapping paper, so I think I'm gonna have to make some boxes, some little gift boxes for Christmas this year, because I want this under my tree. I used these scallops and dots dies to cut a layer out of the center. Since my layer is going to go over the pattern paper and cover it up, no need to waste that extra paper. Now I'll be able to get another card out of it. So we'll layer this on the card front. So before I adhere this together, I was thinking if you do this, you're going to be able to see the white. So I was going to try to adhere this to the card base. This might be a little tricky. Let's see if we can do it. Okay, so I'm going to try to hold it and adhere it down straight. And I think oh, I'm very close. Here, let's see if we can scoot it down a bit. There we go. So I probably should have done that before I put the whole card together. You know, before I put all the foam tape and the plane on, I could have laid this on top of my card and glued that piece in there, and it would have been really easy, but it still worked out, right? I can always give you guys tips that I don't think of myself as I'm making the card. Different color combos. I have 2 with Santa, 1 with Mrs. Claus, and seriously, this is so stinking cute. I love these peeking holiday characters. At Catherine Polar Designs, we love making things that go together. So our Santa's crew with the elf and Mr. and Mrs. Claus and the reindeer are perfect with this plane, but they also can peek out of other things. So we made the chimney, the wreath, the presents. There's a couple more wreaths, and the characters can also peek out of those things. Peeking out of presents, out of the chimney, Mr. and Mrs. Claus with the mistletoe. We're gonna juggle some ornaments. And then you can also use these to just peek out of words. I used our treat box from our Halloween release to make a Christmas treat and Mrs. Claus peeking out of the window. This ho 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 from a couple years ago, this is the one I was telling you that my mom said, oh, I'm not so sure about the purple, but I'm sure you can imagine any color you desire. I think green on this background would be really, really pretty. And then just do, instead of purple, do that one green as well. And I love the reindeer peeking out of the die cut opening. So cute. Before I go, I wanted to show you a couple other things because we have other peeking characters. So our Peeking Pets stamp set, this is our all-time hottest seller, my friends. If you don't have this one, definitely get your hands on it. And you guys loved it so much, we did more Peeking Pets as well. We have pet specs, so you can put glasses on these adorable critters. We have the Instant Thanks die. It's like a little Polaroid. Peek him out of there. And then the I Love You and Possum with the paws for the O's. So cute. So you can do your little critter peeking out over the I Love You or the possum. We also have Take a Peek. So these are our safari animals. And here is a Peeking Pet card. We also did the Boardwalk Cruisers for summer. These were created to also go with the plane. So all of these pets, the cats and dogs, are sized to work with the plane. And they were originally created to go with this Woody wagon. Oh my gosh, so cute. So really stepped up and very simple. No matter which way you make it, it's so adorable. And if you remember back a few years, we did Critter Crew, and these animals were made to peek out of the 4-window die. And then I can also use it with the Santa's crew. Any kid would love all of these Santa characters in their house, am I right? So I hope you enjoyed learning how to make this fun slider card, and you can think of lots of ways to apply this technique to dies and stamps that are in your stash. All these products are available at catherinepolar.com. I hope you'll subscribe to the channel and come back and hang out with us again really, really soon. Have a great day.